This is a Funsie podcast, and
Funsie.
I have no beard anymore, so make sure to
What?
comment about that.
Beardless Sajko.
Yeah, beardless Sajko. Let's not get too into the sack jokes regarding.
I did not. That's not.
Dude, just yeah. I just own it
Moving
at
on.
this point.
Moving on.
Yeah, this is the Funsie podcast. Ben is back, y'all.
I'm back,
He
y'all.
is in the building.
I know one of you missed me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna say which one though.
If you enjoyed last week's episode more than our typical episodes, just comment down below that you don't want Ben in any of the future episodes.
No, we love him. We love him. You guys love him. Yeah, Ben, you want to let people know like what you're up to last week, if anything was like going on when you were down in Virginia?
Yeah, so I just had a wedding to attend, which is why, and then I decided to just stop in DC on the way back because I was down there. So that's why I wasn't able to make it last minute, because it was just like, we're driving past DC, let's stay. So yeah, that's why.
Sick.
Nice.
Super sick. Yeah, we for those that don't know, because Ben is usually the one that kind of has like all the controls when it comes to doing the podcast. So it was kind of like a scramble for us to just make some sort of product, and it ended up coming out like pretty decent. So yeah, I'm glad it all worked, but yeah, glad that we're back here as well. Yeah, any updates? You got anything over there, Jamie?
I do. I won my first MA1.
Let's go.
Yo, what up? It's
That was your
boy.
first? Dude, I haven't even won my first yet. I'm so sad.
A classic, pretty bad disc golf tournament trophy.
How dare you?
Was it like a canvas, like spray painted on?
It's just a canvas, like drawn and spray painted on. I don't know.
It says MA1 champ, but it looks like it says Machamp, like the Pokemon.
Yeah.
I
I don't know. I'm happy with it. I'll hang it up and be happy that I got a win. But
would you shoot 13 down?
I shot. It was a 2-round B tier. I shot -6 the first round and then -13 the second round. But we were playing longs and then shorts. So
was this you balling out, or was it just kind of like, you're just like, yeah, I won, but it was, I don't know.
It's my home course, so it's like one of the courses I know the best and feel the most confident on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say this was me like balling out. Like I shot, boy. I was comfortable, I was happy. I mean, I won by 7 strokes, so
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And I averaged 1,006. My second round was 1022, so that I was happy about that. The crazy thing is round 1, I missed like 2 15-footers. I only made 1 C2 putt on the weekend. And I don't know.
Jump putt?
Are you doing the stepper or?
Well, you'll have to see. I posted a video today actually about.
Dude, I know. That's why I was referencing that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You saw it already. Let's go. Yeah. So C2 was bad, but I was parking it and throwing really well. So it was good. There should be a video coming out sometime in the next month or two talking about it.
Heck yeah.
It should be fun.
Can't wait.
I'm excited.
Can't wait.
I'm officially playing MPO now though.
What?
So,
like from here on out.
You just wanted one
from
win?
From here on out. Dude, all I wanted was 1 win.
That's crazy.
If I didn't play MA1, I would have gotten 2nd or 3rd in MPO. So we played the same layout.
Dude, man's gonna come back next week with an MPO win.
No, yeah, definitely not. My goal over the next year or 2 years is 1 MPO win. That'll be the next quest.
Dude, I'm still chasing that MA1 win. It's tough out here. Dude,
it's elusive, man.
Yeah, it's elusive. Texas too. The Massachusetts has some stiff comp. Like I finished like 10th place this past weekend, and I averaged like 950, which isn't obviously winning, but still like 10th place. There's some stiff comp out there where when people are shooting like 1,000 rated rounds. It's crazy.
Dude, it'll be that Maple Hill Hooley flex where you take it down and everything comes together. Everything's right in the universe.
Yo, Sajko's first tournament this year.
Ooh, first ever?
Oh yeah, no, my first this year. It for sure will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine I just come out and win?
What'd you say?
You gonna fly out for that? The hooligan flex? Come on now.
Dude, if Garrett flew me out, for sure. I'm not flying out myself.
Yeah.
Garrett, he won't be there.
Oh,
Nah, it'll be cool. Okay, yeah, my personal updates. Honestly, it's kind of crazy that it's already been a week since we had the podcast. It's kind of just been more of the same of what I said last week, where it's just been like a whirlwind of me. Yeah, just making my stuff, and then like all the other things that I have to make stuff for. But it was nice to slow down for the weekend. Like it was Father's Day, so spending time with my father-in-law, who I just posted something this morning talking about. He's the one that showed me disc golf in the first place.
Dadder.
So just kind of being grateful for him, and it
is.
is.
So your wife's dad showed you disc golf for the first time.
Yeah, it all kind of worked out like perfectly timed. Yeah, I don't think I've actually explained this story before.
Yeah, dude, tell us. I want to know.
So back in January of 2020, my father-in-law went to go visit his brother down in Florida. Spent some time with him, and then he came back. Dude, this guy came back on an absolute mission, being like, "I have to show you guys something." So he took us out. He took us out disc golfing for the first time, and just being like my personality, like he shows me that, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's whatever. Like I'll just come along and play, but I don't really want to." And then you start getting better, and you're seeing the disc fly, and you're like,
"You get your first birdie." That's what
I want to do that again.
Yep.
So it's just become highly obsessive over it. So yeah, it's very cool how we all got to learn at the same time, because I don't know too many people that got to learn how to play with kind of like a parent figure, and like my wife's family. So now I'm like spreading that to I've spread it to all my friends, and now my sister's getting into it this past year. It's brought like a lot of really good times into my life and just fun outlets. So yeah, very grateful to like reflect on that over this Father's Day. And of course, there's my own dad that I'm grateful for too, but not related to disc golf. So it's not on this podcast. That's what Ben said before. He's like, dude, do you have like your own dad? And I was like, yeah, dude, of course I have my dad.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. Maybe, I mean, that's not verbatim, so maybe that like makes it sound bad, but
yeah.
Hilarious.
Do you have your own dad?
Yeah, just really grateful for that.
I was in not with my dad, but like getting to find the sport with multiple people at the same level, and you all progress at the same time.
Yeah.
It is such a good feeling. Like, I think finding the sport yourself and, growing in isolation is a great way to do it. But like, I had my 3 best homies who like we found the sport at the same time, and so we would go play together all the time, and like, every time we would birdie by ourselves, it was a win for all of us. It was so awesome, so fun. And like, as each of us progressed, all of us progressed. We were always competition for each other. And then just, a year in, 2 years in, people started distancing themselves from the others and fell apart, and all that jazz. But
no, the end of a legacy.
Yeah.
It is like we talked about 2 weeks ago, where sure, of course you want to throw good shots for yourself, but it's fun to be a hype man for each other. So because you're all learning at the same time, like what each person is capable of, and then when you finally see it come together and like they throw an awesome shot, you're like, let's go, and they do it back to you, and it just makes for like a great environment that you're like, no wonder why I want to play this over and over again.
Disc golf's about community, man. That's what I like to, or hope I preach in my videos. Like, yeah, there's competition and it's a sport. Like, obviously you want to win and shoot well, but have fun. It's a sport. Like, we're playing a game at the end of the day. Hang out with your homies, have fun, do whatever makes you have the most fun, and enjoy it. And that's the way to do it.
I want to briefly shout out the disc golf or Fish Golf Bra podcast.
Broadcast.
Did I say that right? Broadcast. There we go. Very big fan of that podcast, but he had on one of the co-creators of UDisc, and he was saying how
sick.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Do you know the name?
You're gonna call me out like this, man? You're gonna call me out like this?
I
don't have it off the top of my head.
I met one of them at the expo, and we talked for a while. That's all.
Flex.
That's not a flex. It's like,
I
I was just saying, like, if it was him, like, I just wouldn't want to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I apologize. I don't have his name off the top of my head.
It's all good.
But he was talking about, he's like, I think a lot of times we talk about disc golf as being a sport, because of course it is, but for a lot of people it's just kind of a hobby. It's just a means
Yeah.
for people to get out and exercise or to
Mm.
like clear their brain. And he was saying that he thinks it's worthwhile to kind of look into it on more of that side, which of course that appeals to someone like me. And like, so I just appreciated him saying that because you just feel seen, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I would honestly still consider it more of a hobby for myself. Like, I make YouTube videos more than I play competitively, or I
Yeah,
play disc
yeah,
golf for fun more than I play competitively. Like, I
right.
have the competitive side and I want to be competitive in disc golf, but I'm focusing on it more as a hobby than as
Mhm.
a sport, because we have the pod, we have my YouTube channel, or I have my YouTube channel. Like, all those things aren't necessarily like disc golf sport centric; they're more hobby centric.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys can go listen to that podcast if you want to, like, go check out more. But I think he was just talking about how like the Pro Tour stepped away from them, or I won't say it like that. Let's say it was just like mutually, like they separated. But he was
Yeah.
saying as like when they were helping the Pro Tour, it they weren't like making money off of that per se. It was kind of like them, let's say, giving back to the community,
Mm.
where like the majority of what they do is definitely through like a casual crowd. But
Yeah.
yeah, we can move on from that unless you guys have any other points.
No, yeah. So with one of the owners, Josh, I believe is his name.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing it wasn't him who got interviewed, because I know there's another owner that is the one that does most of the interview. But I talked to him, and that's what he was saying. Like, yeah, they didn't make any money off of it. It was just more
Yeah.
just like it was just something they did, and see if it got any return maybe in the future. But it wasn't like a. So that's why it was kind of a mutual, like, okay, like
Mhm.
it's fine. Like he I can imagine maybe they even like, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate, but like, yeah, I don't. They could have lost money too. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
true.
Who
That's
knows?
not what he told me. I'm just saying like that. I don't even see a way they would make money just keeping score unless the Pro Tour paid them. Like, maybe
Mhm.
I'm guessing that's how it worked out, but I can't speak on that.
Right. Yeah, I'll move on to the icebreaker then. So for this week, if you could, you don't have to say a specific disc or company or anything. You could just say like a style. But let's say you were to get a tour series, what would your disc be like? Like what speed sort of, or like what kind of plastic you feeling? Like if you could make anything, not even necessarily like what people you're like, oh, people would want to buy this. Like what kind of your like heart of your hearts, what are you trying to make as like your go-to tour series? If
Go
we're
ahead, Jay
talking
Millie
like,
first. I'll go second.
All right, Jay Millie first. Tour series, Heart of Hearts. What am I making? I think I would go like zone
mm,
clone.
mm,
Like if it's not a zone, something like the zone. Just because it's such a workhorse disc for me. I guess I would say though, something I've been finding out recently is I'm just such a flex forehand zone player.
oh
And
really?
sometimes a few, yeah, some like for approaches or some shorter tee shots on like a shorter course. I just love that shot for some reason. I don't know. And so I've been liking the Zone OS a little bit more, just because like
Mm,
it's nearly impossible for me to like turn and burn it. And I've
mm,
turned and burned some of my zones before. So I might even be like a tick more overstable than a zone. Like
right.
if I were Discraft Tour Series, I might go Zone OS. If it was something else, like imagine a zone in between a zone and a Zone OS, that
Mm.
would be my answer. Just because that's a disc I personally use a lot and love. Like
Do
it's
you have
it's
like
a great
a
disc.
particular plastic that you love, or maybe there's like an idea for a stamp that you'd be like, oh, I would want this on the front, or you don't have to even answer both of
Mm.
those, but
Well, so first ace I ever got, it's hanging up on my wall right here, is a Z Flex Zone.
nice.
And I like the Z Flex. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good plastic. Like, it feels good in my hand, and then it's just fun to like bend the disc that much. Obviously, I
Mm,
like floppy discs.
yeah,
And for the stamp, oh man, dude,
yeah, that
that'd
one's
be
a lot
hard.
more. Yeah,
That'd be
you
hard.
don't have to answer that one.
Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about while Ben's doing his answer, and then I'll give some answer because I don't know. It's fun.
All right, for me, I'd go with this Hooligan Dis Yeet. Shout out Hooligan Dis with this exact stamp on it. You see it? You see it?
Yes, sir.
Spoons.
No, but 2 years ago we ran this as my first tour series. That's actually that's why Garrett and from Hooligan's awesome. Like I was literally just on Nick and Matt's show or now Stagger Sense, and he was just like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's run a thing." And I was like, "Okay." Like I was literally cool. like a soy in the community, just trying to work my way up. So it was like very early on, but genuinely. Yeah, just like a seedling, like a sprout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
I haven't either, but I
haven't heard it either till the other day. One of my friends, Seamus, shout out Seamus, the seabird. He called himself. He was in one of my videos, and I was like, "Did you see the video that went up that you were in?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, I was such a soy back then." So I guess that, and I started dying. I was like, "What? What does that mean?" So then I just thought of it then. So there you go. And now I call him. I don't call him by his name anymore. I literally just call him Soy. So it's been a funny inside joke, but genuinely, the Yeet's like the Hooligan Destroyer. It's not out yet. I can't wait till it is. But genuinely, it would just be a destroyer. I mean, how could you not have it be a destroyer? It's one of the best discs ever made, and I don't think I'll ever not throw one unless I get signed
Destroyer mid.
Exclusively. Destroyer what?
Mid.
What? You said it's mid?
Destroyer's mid.
What do you throw?
Oh, you said the
Forces?
destroyers. Oh.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, like what is
throw
your
wraiths?
Okay, well,
okay.
That's the same thing, just like a tick lower.
Destroyer mid.
It's my favorite disc of all time. I mean, I got one right there of me eating a pepper or whatever. But yeah, I do Destroyer at first stamp. If I were to do it again, a different stamp, it's so hard to say again. It would probably be just like, I don't know. I'm looking at an asthma pump, so something with an inhaler. Maybe just an inhaler stance destroyer.
Oh, dude, that would be hilarious. I would actually love that.
Yo, I'll make it a thing, and then it'll have some like weird quip on it, like just like out of breath. I don't know.
Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah, mine. I think mine would be. I think
That
it's like
shot
a neutral.
will take your breath away.
Yeah, something like that. There you go. I couldn't think of like a good
boom
quip. There you go.
All right,
Sajko,
Sajko, go.
I think mine would just be like a neutral, like fairway, like a 7-speed or something like that, because that's very much my game. Like I like to just like throw a lot of neutral discs and throw them on, like manipulate the angles. So I think I'm a big fan of kind of like glimmer plastics. Like I know sometimes you'll see they'll
like
do
metal
like
flake
chameleon
or
no, not quite. It's more so like sparkle.
oh, like chroma.
Yeah, kind of more like that. Like I'm a big fan of that plastic. It feels good to me. It looks cool.
Like the Iron Samurai. Like the chroma plastic that
big fan.
did.
Big fan.
I guess this one isn't super glimmery. I don't know. Whatever.
I'd probably do that. Just because, yeah, I could do that. I can sidearm it. And for a stamp, dude, I don't know, but probably something waterfowl related because that's just what everyone calls me. People call me Duck Boy because of my job. So it's probably something with a duck.
They don't call you Goose.
Yeah. Goose? No, there's already one goose, man.
Yeah, it's already taken.
Yeah, there can't be two goose. Like, are you kidding? Like comparing the two of us? Yeah, I'm the lesser goose man for sure.
Yeah, for my stamp, man, I have so much trouble with stamps because I don't know.
You want it to like tie in really well?
I got it for you.
I want to do something. I want to do something that like relates to my channel.
I got it for you right now.
Inside jokes.
Yeah,
dude.
Okay. What you got, Ben?
I got it for you. You always wear the thing that says not a cowboy hat or something, and you're wearing a cowboy shirt and a cowboy hat right now of a cowboy on the hat. Jamie Lee Cowboy stamp.
Dude, I actually my logo almost had a cowboy hat on it. I thought about it.
Oh, that would have been sick.
So yeah, no, I definitely want to lean into the Texas country I mean, I'm not really a country boy at all, 0.
Yeah,
But
you live
I
in
am
like
from
Dallas
Texas.
or Fort Worth
Yeah,
or something.
so at some point I'd like to lean into that. So yeah, maybe something related to that, like cowboy. Like I love the cowboy vibe. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, so
Yeah, I dig it.
I'm sure
Can
I'll get
we
some hated comments for that.
quickly touch on um so of course, like depending where you live, I think people like different kinds of plastics, or even just like how dry your hands are. So I only bring this up because you guys were talking about like no Wraith, no Destroyer, like preferences for plastic. So like my buddy Zach, shout out to him. I've grown up with him like my entire life. He loves Discraft plastic. Like he thinks it's the best plastic, and I'm not taking away or saying that that's right or wrong. It's just his preference. Um, he also has like I feel like ESP plastic, and no disrespect to them, but for my dry hands, it is so slippery in my hand. Like you feel this guy's hands, dude. It's like you just pet a dolphin, like a porpoise, straight at the aquarium.
Porpoise.
Yeah.
I think that has to do with just like getting your disc dirty. I think like when I first started throwing like even Innova, is like so sometimes they're so slick, but if you just throw them in the dirt a little bit, then I get that grip that I need.
Right, but I'm just saying like my preference definitely leans more towards like softer plastics. Whereas for him, it's just
like what?
It's, I think a lot of people will shout out things like K1's plastic, or even just like Royal line, or just things like that. Like to me, yeah, those feel great. But a lot of times, like if you play with me, you'll see me like I have to like breathe into my hand to like create some sort of tack.
You're just a sweaty boy, aren't you?
No, I'm the opposite. Like I have the driest hands. I've never had to use chalk.
Sorry, I'm thinking like your hands are like dripping. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh no, I've never had to use chalk one time. Like
Sajko,
if anything, what's up?
Oh no, finish your thing first.
I was just gonna say I've never had to use chalk, and yeah, constantly just have to like breathe on my hands to like create some sort of moisture.
That's a superpower, bro.
Yeah, I'm actually the exact same as you, Sajko. I don't use chalk in the slightest, and I don't know if you guys would want to, you can go look back at my videos, and you can literally I lick my hands. I don't know, it's disgusting, but no, I'm a Ricky Wysocki clone
liquor.
Yeah, like Paul Ulibarri. He just like every single time before he throws.
Like especially before I putt, I lick and then I wipe it off on my pants a little bit, and I have to. There's like this like feeling I get on my fingers that I have to have to make sure I get the proper grip when I throw it. So yeah, I'm of the same boat as you. Like I need the extra grip on my fingers. Like chalk doesn't help. I don't sweat on my hands. But I actually like ESP a lot, so.
I felt great. Like ones for me where it feels really good, and I still throw it, but yeah, for some reason it's sometimes very slick. Like that's why like especially on sidearm I have to like breathe on like my fingertips. Otherwise, like maybe I'll get like a little flutter if it's like kind of loose in my hand.
I'm the exact same way. I would say my favorite plastic though, for my type, is I love Halo. I don't know what it is like.
That's nice.
I have 3 Halo Wraiths and 1 Halo Destroyer, and those are like my Wraiths I throw for my distance backhands, and then my distance forehands I do my Wraiths as well, and then like if I need something super beefy I do my Halo Destroyer on forehand or backhand. So those are my drivers of choice, even though I feel like I'm an Innova hater, which is funny. So
really? I find all this stuff interesting to talk about. Hopefully you guys that are listening also.
Oh yeah, true.
Because this is like very, very
so
niche. Yeah, so like niche. Super nerdy. So hopefully you're still following along. But we can move on to the next segment unless you had anything else to add, Ben.
No, yeah, I think I think people do enjoy it, and I think that's kind of like the antithesis of our podcast. We just talk about what we like, and I'm sure there's so many other people that do enjoy it, and I think that's what makes it special. Like for example, Sajko, you definitely watch Smiling Friends.
What?
Okay, you don't.
Yeah, what is Smiling Friends?
It's like a 10-minute TV show that's like really popular amongst like I guess adults, and I just felt like it's something up your alley, and you should probably start watching it. And it's only because you're wearing that golf hat. It kind of has Smiling Friends vibes. And if you watch one
That's
episode,
Tyler the Creator, right?
yeah, that is
Yeah.
Golf Wang. But if you watch one of the episodes, you'd understand. I'll send it to you later.
I mean, I used to grow up watching Loiter Squad and stuff like that, and I loved it, of course, because I was in high school. So at that time, you're just like, these guys get it. They're so sweet.
Yeah. Bumping old D, I'm gonna sell your phone.
Okay. So I thought it could be. This was one of the like last week. We didn't get to like any of our notes really that we were trying to. So I thought it would
bring
be
'em
cool.
back.
I thought it would be cool to touch on like who are we as individuals. So people see us for like the disc golf stuff that we do, but like what do we do for day jobs? Like who are we outside of this podcast? I think it could be cool to just like even just get to know. I'm sure we'll learn things about each other that we didn't know, and listeners can take something away from it as well. So whoever wants to go first.
I heard Ben wanted to go first.
I think I also.
All right. Hey, my name is Ben. 6'1", 25 years old. What I do as my day job is okay. So I own a tackle store called Ben's Tackle Shack. So that was the first 4 years where I was working there all the time, growing that business and all that jazz. But then as I progressed in disc golf, because I found disc golf after I started the tackle store. As I progressed in disc golf, I started the disc golf expos that I'm a part of now. So the Northeast Disc Golf Expo, and we're going to Dallas for Disc South, which is pretty cool. So now that's kind of my main focus. I still own the store, and I still do kind of back end stuff like with inventory and just like online website stuff. But my main focus now is kind of the expos and content creation and stuff like that. So basically, I'm in disc golf pretty much full time. Well, I guess I'm flexible. I get so hard to explain. Like disc golf's my job, but also the tackle store is sort of my job as well, just in the back end stuff. So a lot of it, what I'm trying to say is I'm just like a back end in all these different industries, and but yeah, and just focusing on content creation too. And I'm on 3 podcasts now, so it's
What's your third podcast?
Disc Golf Daily. It's with Steve
with?
Dodge. Steve Dodge created it, so it's a podcast every single day that is released, and I have the Sunday slot, which is
Cool.
pretty sweet. So, and that's
Who's
why
Steve
I was busy today because I was interviewing Landon Brooks today earlier. So
Very
I'm
nice.
already on my this would be my next hour of podcasting, and I have the Stagger Stance tonight. So Mondays are my day. But yeah, that's what I do. Just tackle store and disc golf. That's it.
Why don't you take us through like who is Ben growing up? Like before coming into what kind of kid were you in like school? Like were you a jokester? Like what were what were you into growing up?
Oh snap. Yeah, so growing up, yeah, I was a joke. I went class clown I was unanimous class clown every single time. It's just like how it was. And it was like you didn't get nominated. It was just like literally people asked, like they asked the school, write down class clown, and they think of it, and people thought of me. So I thought that was pretty cool. Well, unanimous. I won in middle school and in high school, the 2 opportunities to get it. So
Dang.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely was a little goofball, but I was really into basketball kind of early on, trying to make the NBA and all that, working really hard. And this is like when I'm like 10, 11, 12, so 13. So, but then once I got into varsity basketball, I wasn't like the greatest. I wasn't the most athletic, and I found music a little before then. So I started really focusing on music and kind of being an artist. And that was my dream at one point, just becoming a recording artist and doing that whole thing, and trying to make it. And I was sort of successful in a local sense, where I had my own concert where like 100 people showed up and sang my lyrics, and it was very cool. And I got the crowd surf on a turtle. It's somewhere on the internet. So, and yeah, I have a song that has like over 700,000 streams, maybe a million with all
It's pretty cool.
platforms combined. I'd have to check that. But so yeah, it was like sort of successful, not really. But then after that, I found disc golf, and then I was having this crisis: like, do I do disc golf? Do I do music? So I kind of did music for like a year and disc golf, but then I don't know. I just decided one day that, yeah, disc golf is it. I was playing every day. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop thinking about my form. I couldn't stop putting. I couldn't stop going to Maple Hill. Like, I was after work every day playing disc golf. So I was like, yeah, this is it. And then I kind of just transitioned, and I reached out to Matt Graham saying, hey, with my music experience, meaning like as an artist, you do everything. It's not only making music, you promote, you make videos and all that. I was like, hey, like, I can help you out. So then that happened, and I was on the Nick and Matt show all of a sudden. And then that just, shout out Matt Graham and Nick, but Matt Graham's like the one that was like, hey, let's bring him on. That just opened the floodgates for me, where there's just like so many opportunities. It really helped with my expos, just like networking wise and getting people there, just because I was kind of, like more known in the scene, I guess. It's not like a random person, like where I could like talk to people that I've already networked with and be like, hey, like come to this expo. And it was more, I guess they were more reassured in that way. And then the expos did really well, fortunately. And yeah, that brings us to today, where I'm just working on 2 expos and creating content and filming for Simon sometimes, which has been a huge blessing. So that none of that would ever happen if Matt didn't allow me on the show. So shout out Matt. If that's what you're asking, I have no idea. I just gave you my history.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, I had like a couple things. Like, have you ever talked about how you managed to like help Simon out with recording?
Not really. It was just the same thing how I got with Matt. I just asked. Like, Simon came and interviewed with us. He didn't know who I was. And so I literally just kind of, I think I planted the seed, like, hey, if you ever need a cameraman, like, let me know. It was kind of, I was kind of like just like a guy he didn't know. And it was like, it was definitely the like, yeah, for sure. And then like, he's not going to use me. But that kind of seed planted where I started going to game nights at Steve Dodge's house with Simon, or not with him, but he was there. So we got to talking then, and we started talking about my expos. And then he's like, wait, you run this? And then I started giving him worms from my tackle store for his axolotl. So that's actually a huge part of it, because he came to my tackle store like after Steve Dodge's game nights, and I gave him just worms. And then he's like, oh, the expo is super cool. I didn't know you run it. That's where we started talking about it in that in the shack. He's like, oh, this is awesome. I think it was the first time he heard of it. And then the expo happened, and then it was pretty successful. And he's like, dang, like I wish I could have been there. And then this is where it actually starts, is Simon had to record a podcast in German with a German disc golf podcast. Matt wasn't around, so I had to go to Matt's studio and like set it up and help him out. And at this point, like, obviously me and Simon aren't like friends, but we know each other, and yeah, we're just like kind of like just like mutual friends. Mm-hmm. But the German podcast, he brought his camera to the thing, and it was like, hey, do you want to record a video after this? Or somehow that came up after the podcast. I was like, yeah, of course, like, let's do it. And then so that was my first video I was in, like where I was featured. So we went to Hodges, and that was my first time filming for him, just like or being a part of the vlog. So then after that, we got to talking. I was just like, yeah, like if you need to film, anyone to film, like, you know, I'd love to do it. And I think it's just a testament of kind of, I've said this so many podcasts already, but opportunity is when luck meets preparation, where I kind of planted the seed, and there's a lot of luck where like that German podcast and Steve Dodge just inviting me and him and stuff like that. So we started like hanging out more, and then eventually he did need a cameraman. So after kind of like those series of events, first person he thinks of is me, because kind of just like how it all worked out. So then after that I started filming for him. And then as I kept filming for him, like it was here and there, but now that we've kind of established more relationship, and I'd like considered him my friend. So it's now it's just like if he ever needs someone to film for him, I'll be there. But I'm not like his camera guy. I want to like put that out there. I'm not like the camera guy for Simon. It's literally just if he needs anyone. But yeah, it's been a huge blessing. So shout out Simon for trusting me and yeah.
Dude, that's what I mean though. Like that's something that's super cool. I know like a lot of people know you from that, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that story, and I'm sure like a lot of people didn't as well.
I've never.
But I think
yeah.
like
Go
ahead.
Sorry.
Me? Okay.
I was just gonna say I've
Oh.
never told it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the important takeaway from that is really just to shoot your shot. And I'm sure we'll be saying that multiple times in this podcast, but if you have something that you're trying to do, I mean, you just put it out there. You're not trying to be like, I'm the one, me, I will record for you. But you just kind of feel it out and build a relationship with someone, and it kind of happens naturally, which is nice.
That'd be my biggest recommendation for anyone in any industry trying to kind of be I don't know, I don't know,
Build relations.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, build relations. Is that because obviously I was a fan of Simon's, like, because the first year of disc golf I wasn't in Nick and Matt. I was just a fan of disc golf, so I was a fan of Simon, Eagle, like all the pro players. But then when we started, when I started seeing him more and more, we just treated him like a friend. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is the biggest thing is like, don't just treat them like normal human beings, because that's literally what they are, and don't like pester them for like, can you do this, or can I get this. I just treat them like a friend, and I think that's how relationships really grow. Where, and if off the bat it's like, dude, I want to film for you, let me film for you, and it was just like kind of weird like that, it wouldn't have worked out. But instead, no, I just treated him as a friend. I didn't really ask him for anything at all, and then eventually it just happened because we just started hanging out more, and so
I think that does kind of go back to the point that I made a couple weeks ago, where I'm kind of afraid to approach. I think it does come into play with pros as well, because you see so many people go up to them all the time just being like, can I have your autograph? Can I have a picture? Just constantly. And I imagine that kind of they're grateful for it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, here's another one, here's another. So I'm always like skeptical to go up and just be like, what's up? Which, having said that, I've had cool experiences like talking to Madison Walker before at MVP Open. Like she came from working in the same field as I did, like working in wildlife. So it was so nice to just like talk to her about just anything that is just not disc golf related and working out in the field. Like she's from Florida, so like I have to wear waders all the time and like go through swamps, so I can't even imagine doing that in a place like Florida, where like any day could be your last.
Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. But yeah, Ben, last point. So it sounds like you wear a lot of hats, and are you the kind of person that it's like day to day you're like, okay, what do I have to complete today? Or like, are you scheduling things out? Like, how are you handling like all these different duties that you have to do?
It's half of it's part scheduling, part just kind of like feel, if that makes sense. Whereas like, okay, I'm free this day. Like today, I try to make everything podcast wise on Mondays if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that today is my day where I don't need to like go play or go outside. Today is my day to just work and grind it out. So that it's kind of that, but also I do kind of set reminders and tasks that I need to do. But yeah, it's mostly just feeling it out. I know what I have to do, and it's just a matter of just scheduling it properly in between. Just scheduling like Tuesday, like tomorrow is like more of my like kind of day to like go play disc golf and hang out. Obviously I might have work in the morning, but I'm saying it's not, since I did so much, cause today it's going to be from like 8:30 till like 9 p.m. of just kind of working. So I have more leniency on Tuesday, but then Wednesday might be just like a sit down and like in expo season, just work on the expos. That's just an example, but yeah, that's just how I manage it. I just kind of know what I need to do, and I just do it.
Well, you got a routine at the point, which helps, because I think if you don't know what you're doing day to day, I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed. So that's why I ask, because I think it's sometimes doing what like what you're doing as an example, it can be a very highly romanticized thing where it's like, I'm doing disc golf, I'm making it happen, but people might not necessarily know what's going on behind the scenes. So that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, it's just I really recommend just like putting out tasks or well, I use tasks. You could do just like calendars and stuff like that. For me, I just enjoy doing tasks because it pops up like, and then it just stays there. So I think that's a big part of it, is just don't forget stuff. I think if you don't forget it, then you'll be fine.
There you go.
Dude, Josh. That was my second interview all time. No, I'm just kidding. That was cool.
Heck
though.
yeah,
Thanks,
man.
Sajko. I like that.
Hey, you got it, man. Yeah, Josh.
What was the original question? What we do? What's our life?
Yeah, who are we kind of behind the scenes?
Who are we?
So like we do this podcast, people see us in the things that we create and we choose to put out into the world. But there's an entire other side of us that people like, what does Jay Milley do for work? Like, what does Jay Milley like to do otherwise? Like, who is he growing up? Just like, what are you trying to do moving forward? Just really whatever you feel like is worthwhile sharing or you think would be interesting to other people.
All right. Well, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Outside of disc golf stuff, I am an engineer. I went to college at Texas A&M down in College Station, Texas, for mechanical engineering. I stayed an extra semester because engineering is hard. And now I work at Lockheed Martin here in Fort Worth, and I do engineering 40 hours a week. It's interesting. It's fun. Like I was always kind of more analytical, math-minded, STEM-minded when I was in high school. So I picked this path early and I stuck with it. And, I enjoy it. But at the same time, I'd like to consider myself a very creative person. Hopefully a little personable. I love to talk to people, interact with people. So I have like two sides. I have the STEM side and I have the like creative, personable, like, I don't know, like friendly side. And both of them play a big role in each other, like at work, I like talking to my coworkers, but in my disc golf content, I also enjoy I kind of do like some of my things are science experiments almost, trying to see, I don't know, trying to see if gyro actually goes farther. Like that's a good example. Like,
right.
I try to treat that as like an actual experiment versus, I don't know, doing it differently. So I don't know, that's
dude, I have how so many questions.
Yeah. All right. Go for it.
So like you're an engineer, but like, what are you doing? So like your day to day, like what is your goal with like, I'm dumb. Like so I'm like curious what you do as an engineer.
I do a lot. Well, I mean, Lockheed scope is pretty big, but I do a lot of CAD modeling, computer aided design. So a lot of 3D modeling, putting the drawings together, making sure everything is, safe and good, flyable, testing, all those things.
So you're staring at a computer a lot of times then, right? Like you're not going out into the field, or
I am in a spot where I'm doing a lot of computer stuff, and it kind of stinks because I do a lot of computer stuff for disc golf as well. So
so your eyes are just burning out of your sockets by the time you're
on the
done.
Computer all of the time.
Yeah. So do your worlds like ever collide? Like, do people at work know that you do like disc golf stuff, or you kind of keep those separate on purpose?
I have some homies at work that know that I do disc golf stuff, but like
Okay.
other than that, yeah, I keep them completely separate. I mean,
Yeah.
they're two different things, two different goals. I mean, two different audiences and people groups, so
Yeah. Right.
keep them
Yeah.
separate. I mean, keep my mind separate too. Like if I start intermingling those, like I think it'd just be hard and make everything harder.
Wait, why is that? Like, because people would be like asking you questions about it?
I mean, like, sorry, intermingling it. Like, I work 40 hours doing my day job, and then after
Oh,
that,
right.
I turn on my disc golf mindset. Like
No, that makes sense.
I do my work, and then I do my disc golf work as well. And to be completely honest, it's 40 hours of work, and another 30 to 35 hours of disc golf work a
Hmm.
week. As my
Yeah.
dogs bust
Dude, your
into the
dogs
room.
just barge through the door. They're just like, "What's up, son?"
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
One of them knows how to open the door, so she always opens it.
Dude, so who was Josh like growing up? Like, I assume you were like a sports guy. Like what did you do? Like, what kind of kid were you growing up?
Josh growing up was I was always the biggest thing
You're the
that
shy
I
kid? Is
can
that what you're
think
gonna
of.
say?
No, not shy.
Oh,
I was short. I was short as heck, dude. I didn't hit 5 foot until junior year of high school. That's my fun fact that I tell people. So I wasn't 5 foot
wait,
tall
what?
until junior year of high school. And so, like, okay, I guess coming with that, I didn't have very much confidence. And
Hmm.
so, like, I tried to overcompensate. I was one of those kids who, like, would take the jokes too far because I wanted people to like me, I guess,
Like
like
Ooh.
try. Yeah. I guess like Naruto. That's a good comparison. But so I was really short, but yeah, I love sports. I played a lot of sports in elementary up until junior high, and then I wanted to play football in high school, but my mom wouldn't let me because I had a bad concussion in junior high, and I was also
Mhm.
far too small. And so I was in choir and orchestra in high school at the same time. But lots of sports. But honestly, the biggest defining thing for me was that I was short. And so I just didn't have a lot of self confidence. And that led to me finding the kind of person that I wanted to be and who I am now, and having the confidence in who I am now. But that was through a lot of
Heck yeah.
struggle and like sad times in junior high, which I'm sure everyone goes through.
Yeah, of course, but that's
But
real, man.
yeah. I mean, yeah, to be real, it was rough. I just didn't know who I was, and I wanted people to like me. So people didn't like me because they knew that I wanted them to like me.
Mm.
Um,
That was almost the icebreaker for this week. Funny enough that you kind of mentioned that. It was something along the lines of, what is something that you tried really hard to do, or like you super cared about that you don't really care about anymore? So hearing you like talk about
yeah.
that, where you're like, I really wanted people to like me,
hmm
and would do
Well,
like a lot of things.
that's something interesting with this space. Like you can find a lot of validation in the views that your videos get, or the comments, or the likes. But for it to be a truly healthy relationship with it, you have to disassociate. Like
Mhm.
you can't just post crap all the time and not look at the views, but you can't have an unhealthy relationship where if you don't get good views on a video that you're proud of, you instantly become not proud of it. And so
Right.
now in the space that I'm at, I post a lot of videos and I'm really happy with the content I'm putting out. And that's where I find a lot of validation and happiness and contentment, versus if I was doing this in junior high, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to get so many views and people have to comment and like and all this stuff. And
Hmm.
so I'm really grateful for the time that I had where I struggled with that, because now I don't struggle with it. Like I got over it, and I'm like, I post a video and however it does, it does. I monitor it, but I'm not going to be super sad if it doesn't do well. Versus I would have been, I wouldn't still be doing YouTube right now if I
Hmm.
attached any part of my personal persona, mental, whatever, to the views and likes and things that I got. It has to be attached to the actual creative aspect of it, or
Hmm.
it won't be sustainable.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned. Just wanted to talk quickly about like you said, all those failures that you had are what allowed you to get to the mindset that you're at currently. I do think like this is maybe like a little bit deep, but I think it's really common because in our like education system, you get like a grade A through
Mm,
F. And a lot of times, like you're really trying to do like try as hard as you can to not fail or get like a low grade. So you'll a lot of times you'll see people doing whatever they can. They'll like copy off of each other. They'll be looking up answers online, doing anything to avoid that failure. So I think it kind of creates this mindset where you're afraid to fail at all. And
yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why people end up in situations that they might not be content with. And I'm not blaming anyone that works just let's say for example you work a job because you know that it's like it's sustainable and you can have like a house and you just live like comfortably. I mean, you're not trying to do anything
Hmm.
crazy, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's roles to fill for everyone. um, but it can also get to the point where you're so afraid to do things that maybe you're
Yeah.
not content with what's going on in your life. I don't really know how to round that out, obviously,
No,
but
I know exactly what you're saying, because for the longest time, engineering kind of just felt like something like it was my fallback, like, but I didn't have like a dream that
mm,
I wanted to pursue, So I truly believe that if there's not anything bigger that you have a goal for, then work the 9 to 5 and use that as a means to an end to
right.
have a fun life outside of it. Like if you just mildly enjoy your job, that's not an issue. Like as long as you don't have something that you're withholding yourself from, like if you have a big goal and you need to quit your job and pursue an art career, but you're not doing it because that's risky. I don't know if I love that. But if you're just
Mm,
working a 9 to 5 and you have no other goals outside of that other than to just enjoy your life and have money to go on vacation or buy cool things or whatever, that's great. But for me, at a certain point, like I started having bigger aspirations, bigger goals. So that's why I started doing disc golf on the side. And it's sustainable for me for now, and yeah, it's just not for everyone. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and kind of going off of what you said with failure, like I'm very proud of all my failure. Like honestly, my junior high and high school and even some of my early college years was filled with a lot of failure in terms of like trying to figure out who I was, like pursuing avenues of honestly like my own personal like growth, my own personality, like trying to figure out the kind of person that I am and where
Hmm.
I find the most contentment. It was filled with a lot of like fails, like just trying to do something and realizing that's not who I am or people
Yeah.
not responding well to it. And in those moments when it happens, it's like that is the worst,
Yeah, it
like that
sucks in the moment.
sucks. It sucks so much. But looking back on it, like I'm the person that I am today because of that. And like learning from those things and maturing and taking those things into consideration when you move on and try something new. Because if you're going to fail, the only way it's beneficial to you is if you use that information to grow in a different direction. And
Mm,
I feel, honestly, to be a little prideful, I would say that one of my best qualities is that when I do fail, I think I do a really good job of analyzing what caused me to fail so that the
mm,
next time I avoid that or I mature in that way or I grow towards just being a better person
mm.
in general. But yeah, that's tooting my own horn a little bit. But
Toot
I, I
toot.
I imagine as a parent, it's really difficult to. That's why you see parents that are very overbearing and they don't let their kids do anything. They're like
mm,
very nervous, but to a certain degree, you kind of have to let your kids make mistakes. It's all just very calculated though, because it's going to happen.
yeah,
And hopefully, you just hope that what you've taught them it like limits the severity of it. But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're like a kid. Like as an example, I was a kid. We were at my buddy's house and we're like running in the woods and we're gonna go into like the neighbor's yard and they had an electric fence and we're like, bro, do you think it's on? And we're like, only one way to find out. You touch it and you're just like, ugh! And you're like, guess what? I'm not gonna do that again. So just like yeah, like a very dumb example, but it applies overall to like all the choices that you make in life.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
see, that was cool.
You have to ask yourself those questions though now.
But yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
you're like
When you
actually
asked
talking
us.
to me. I thought
We
you were
need
just
to hear
talking to the audience.
Sajko's answers.
Yeah,
you
dude.
just
Growing up, when I was a kid, I did play sports, but I was never really into them per se. I would kind of play them more so just because my friends would play them, and I just wanted to hang out with them. And you kind of just at that age, you just try stuff out. So I played baseball, soccer, football, just really, really most sports that you could think of growing up. Uh, and a lot of people don't know this, but I was actually like fairly overweight growing up. So in the 8th grade, I maxed out at 215 pounds, and wow. I remember at that like making a choice at that time, being like, "Oh, we're going to high school. I'm gonna make a conscious effort to like try to lose weight, because it's like go to a new place, you can be anyone that you essentially want to be." So yeah,
that screwed me before, by the way.
What's that?
Being anyone that I want to be in a new place. But anyways,
you could talk about you can talk about that after if you want.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Sure.
Okay, cool. I kind of veered away from sports in elementary school, and I got into things like being a Boy Scout or just like playing in band. Like I played the saxophone like an absolute baller.
Yes,
so I think that's kind of like where my like things that I like came from. So just like you're always outside. Like we went down the entire Delaware River, like a 100-mile portion of it, and it's just cool exploring and environments and seeing animals and whatnot. So I think that really played into my current day job. So for those that don't know, I work for the government. I work for the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection for the state of Connecticut, and I work in the wildlife department. I've worked in a few different roles, but so mostly I've worked with waterfowl, but currently I work with deer and moose. This time of year, there's not a heck of a lot going on with deer and moose, so I still am helping a lot of times with waterfowl. Like starting tomorrow, I have to wake up at 2 a.m. to go into work and drive to. So I live in Eastern Connecticut, and I have to drive to Stamford, Connecticut for like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something like that. And I feel like when people think of Connecticut, they're probably thinking of like, oh, Stamford, the rich Connecticut. Oh, but the majority of Connecticut is not that. Yeah, that's my day job. I love it.
What do you do?
So, the last couple of weeks I've been looking for Canada geese because they're considered a nuisance species in the state of Connecticut. We don't do anything necessarily to, we'll say, get rid of them. That'll be the quotes. We don't technically do that. I'm sure that there are states that do that, though.
So
we're keeping track of numbers and migration patterns along the entire, so all along the East Coast is what's known as the Eastern Flyway. So you can kind of like keep track of population and their hindrance on like
so
specific
you just
locations.
Like go out and see them and like look for them?
Well, so the point of what I'm going to be doing this upcoming week is putting these little metal bands on them, so they have like a number. So if, say, this one migrates back up to like Prince Edward Island, which is like an island in Canada north of us, someone could, like biologists there will be able to see and be like, oh, this was found here, so they can like track the migration, like this one went here, and you can kind of get an overall feel for what the animals are doing.
How do you catch them?
So we're doing it this time of year because the geese molt and like their flight feathers, so they can't technically fly right now. So we kind of corral them into like a net system, and then you take them out and you just like do like a bunch of measurements, and you put on a band, and then you release them back into the wild.
How did you get into this line of work? Did you go to college?
Yeah, so I did go to college. You were saying that you always kind of knew that you wanted to be an engineer. Is that correct? Like that was kind of like the rough thing that you were.
Well, so my dad was an engineer. My dad was is an electrical engineer, and so it was my thought process was either I wanted to be an architect or an engineer, and that was because I liked Legos and I liked my dad.
Two great things.
And then actually in high school, I started working at Lockheed. I got a high school internship there. and then the rest is history. So, I kind of knew, but it was more of just like I lucked into it and I've stuck with it and I enjoy it enough for it to be good. So
Yeah.
not really like the biggest. Everyone's figuring things out. That's how I
Yeah.
figured it out.
I think growing up, like I said, I very much, I was like a Boy Scout, so outside a lot. And I was very fortunate because my mom, was a stay-at-home mom a lot of times. So she would take us to places like the aquarium or the zoo and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, that really stuck with me. So you can even ask like my mom. I would like when we would go to like buy books, I wouldn't buy like normal like, oh, let's read Harry Potter. I would buy like animal encyclopedias, and I would think it's the coolest thing ever to like look at pictures of animals and just like learn about them. Like just a nerd from way back. So then going to college, I was just like, my parents, I don't know how you guys were, but my parents were like, you're going to college. Like there's no option. They're like, these are what the majors are. You got to choose one. So I was like, I like hovered over with the mouse bio, and like pictures of like toucans and birds and stuff came up, and I was like, I guess I'll do that. So it sounds like it's this well thought out thing, but sometimes it's just like split decisions that end up working out, and I'm grateful that what I
that's pretty much
chose.
what happened to me too. So
Right. I'm grateful that what I chose, like I end up loving. Like I don't have people breathing down my neck. I get to work outside, which I know not everyone is like fortunate enough to do that. Although, don't get me wrong, there are days where it sucks. Like I said, I mean, I'll be like up to my chest in like water, like wading through it, hoping I don't step on like a snapping turtle. Days that it's cold, yada yada yada.
Where'd you go to college?
Just right up the road from me. It's called Eastern Connecticut State University.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of like who I was growing up.
Isn't that like a Division II school or Division I maybe?
Not Division I. I don't entirely recall what it is. Exactly. Like I don't really. Like those are things I just like don't even know. It's a state school, but yeah, me growing up. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but bio to wilderness, like was it straight out of college? You got this job, you interned there, like
no.
How did this come to be? Like, did you luck into this, or was this a job you sought out?
No, it was a job that I sought out. We can even talk about like our first jobs growing up. I think that would be funny at some point as well.
Yeah,
because those are things that you just have to. I mean, you have to have money. So all through college, I worked at Dairy Queen, and that could be like a podcast all on its own. Like
I worked at Brahms. Do you guys have Brahms up there?
No, but I had a local place called Brahms. That's definitely not a chain, so that's really weird.
Brahms is a ice cream place.
Oh, okay. And it's a chain?
Like Dairy Queen. Yeah.
Dang, son.
We can fight.
Yeah, we're competitors.
Ice cream place?
Me, no. I delivered pizza, which was so
really? Dude, you must have so many. Yeah.
We can talk about this later.
This
is a teaser for another episode.
Yeah, that'll be another episode for sure.
Yeah. This is just more this episode because the Turku Open did happen, but it was just like it was in Europe, so it's tough for us to kind of watch it live, other than post. So this is kind of like it's on an off week, but it's sort of an off week, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so that's
chill.
why we're just kind of talking about.
Right. Yeah. So me growing up, I was like, I don't know. Did you guys like get bullied at all growing up? Because I didn't ever like. I was never bullied growing up. I was always the kid that was kind of
the bully.
I wasn't like the class clown, but I was like kind of quiet. It was kind of like the quiet kid that like when you talk to him, they're like, yo, this kid's funny. But I wasn't like openly in class just being like, yo, whatever, teacher. Just like that guy.
Yeah, me neither. I went like when I say I won class, I wasn't like a tool bag. It was just like
I didn't think you were.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know why. Just my personality resonated with people. Anyways,
I've always been a very artsy person. Like growing up, I would be drawing. Like I joked about me drawing clone troopers and stuff before, and anime constantly. I always had some sort of outlet, like artistic outlet, that I would be working on. Yeah, and then, like graduate from college. Like for me, I know college was like great for a lot of people, and it wasn't anything special for me. I just like commuted to college, and I didn't know anyone. All my friends went to other schools, so I kind of just Yeah, people went to UConn and stuff, and I almost did, but yeah, we can talk about that. It's not really like super relevant. Um, yeah, so like I didn't like have I don't want to say like I didn't have a good experience in college, but it just was like a means to an end. You just do
No,
it.
I feel it, bro. I did not. Whoa. Did my audio get
No, yeah,
loud?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
you
your
turned it up.
audio's busted.
Okay. Sorry. I did not. I had the same experience, Sajko, but I actually stayed at college. But yeah, college just, I didn't have like this crazy experience at college. Just kind of did my work and went home, and that was it.
Yeah, like
So
I love all my
relate.
friends. They all went away to different schools and whatnot. And I'd see them because they were at UConn and whatnot. But uh, for me, it's kind of like I grew up earlier than them because they were still in the college mindset, and I kind of had to just work and go to school. And that's when I decided to like get into a band, like learning music. So I did that for a while. Yeah. So for people that don't know, I was in a band called Northern Life. The people that named it when they were like 14 years old, and it was kind of just like a screamo sort of band, but very fortunate that we got to travel around portions of the country and met a lot of really cool people. But at the same time, there are some unfortunately like really terrible people, because you think about it, that is like a style of music that kind of thrives on, I don't want to say it thrives on negativity, but it like brings people together and they bond over negativity, where it's like, I went through this bad thing and I'm sure you went through it too, but we can get through it. And that's a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can attract the wrong people. And you see people moshing, and there's just, it's a weird culture where it like looks aggressive, but it's not. But for some people, it is. Um, and unfortunately, yeah, that kind of, that's like you were saying, Ben. You were saying that you thought that would be like your thing, like doing music, and I thought that would be
Yeah.
my thing too. But some people develop other desires of what they want to do. So one
Disc
person
golf.
one person opened up, no, not me, I'm and I don't blame the people that did, but one of my bandmates ended up opening up an ice cream place and then got married and decided he didn't want to
Oh,
do it
that's
anymore, which
sick.
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's okay. But
That's actually like I've always told myself or thought like if I didn't wasn't in disc golf or didn't own the tackle store, I would have opened up an ice cream store. I think I just love soft serve, and I think it's
interesting. You should talk to Jay Millie's friend.
Cohen. No, I think it's just like a super lucrative business if you do it just like seasonal. It's just crazy that where these ice cream stores like that are open from like spring to fall, the lines and how much like people are just there. There's like hundreds of people just all buying ice, and you're just serving ice cream. It's just crazy how people go crazy for ice cream.
Yeah. I think my
Ice
only other
cream,
like
ice cream.
last takeaway was like I was a big video game guy growing up. I'm not sure if you guys were, but that's how I'd bond with my friends, like just staying up until 3 a.m. just
Yeah,
laughing
during
about everything
COVID, bro.
possible.
Oh, that was the best. Call of Duty till like 3 a.m. because you didn't have anything to do the next morning. Those were the times, man. You never know
Yeah,
the good times till they're gone.
yeah, exactly. I think that's all that I have for that. Unless you guys had anything else that you wanted to add. Oh, Ben, what was it that you
Oh,
do? You remember?
yeah, how reinvent yourself. So when I first went to college, I tried reinventing myself. So here's the thing: like in high school, I was like the class clown, and like I was friends with everyone, pretty much. But I wasn't like the most popular kid. I wasn't like invited to all the parties. I was just kind of just like doing my own thing. I didn't really have like a friend group per se. I was just friends with everyone and hung out with everyone. And I did attend some parties, but I'm just saying it wasn't like every other weekend. I was like, oh, there's another house banger. Yo, Benny coming. So I wasn't really like that popular, but I was okay with that. I was okay because I was okay. But when I went to college, I was like, dude, like I gotta reinvent myself, man. I gotta be so cool. Like this is my time. I gotta be super sick and stuff like that. And so freshman year, I was just like I was like the class clown, but like overdid it. Kind of like Jay Millie, where I would go over the top, where I thought I was so cool. I'd make fun of everyone, like all my
Oh, really?
like my not like I'm probably overdoing it. It probably wasn't that bad, but to me it felt that bad because I like looking back and I was like, dude, I was such a tool because I was just trying to be cool. Like I like I got like hanging out with all the cool kids and stuff like that, and I found myself after 6 months of college like so lonely. I was like, bro, like what? This sucks. I like this is like it. I've never really had depression, but that was probably the closest I've been to like actually being like depressed. I was just being, and it was because I was just being a tool bag. I just thought I was just trying to be cool with that. Basically what I'm saying is I wasn't being myself. So it was all like fake and unorganic, and that life made me very unfulfilled. So I started kind of just like drifting away from people and started just kind of like, and I still to this day, like kind of like my dorm mates, I'm like, bro, guys, I'm so sorry. Like I wasn't mean to them. We had a lot of fun times, but I'm just saying I could just like, one of my roommates was wearing like a hat that was too large for his head. And I was recording him like, yo, your head's so big, man. Yo, like clowning on him. Or like
you look back on it and you're like, why?
Yeah. Or one time I remember he was like pissed because I was like touching his pillow. And he was like, bro, stop. And I was like, what? You know, like that like corny stuff. And that's not who I am. And that never was who I am. It was just like I was trying to make this like identity. I don't even know. And it just turned me into like just like a like kind of like a tool where I was just like trying to be cool and do it all for the jokes and laughs and stuff like that. So, but it was a quick 6 months. And then I realized like, yeah, like, no, this isn't for me. So then I turned back to the self you see now, which is just like just how I am. So it was just like, I should, lesson learned, unless you're like a bad person, don't reinvent yourself. Like, just like be yourself. It's not like, it's like pretty easy.
You say that, but I feel like that's a very common time for a lot of people where they have an identity crisis. Reinvent yourself in a way of like, yeah, like someone you want to be, but don't try and be fake is what I'm trying to say. Like if you're like, oh, like I never really dressed well in high school. I was too afraid to, I'm going to like start wearing like fashion and stuff like that. But I'm saying like, don't change your whole personality because your personality is who you are. And yeah, you can maybe like alter it a little bit, but like I like went like just like complete like reversal where it was just like I wasn't myself because I was trying to be someone I wasn't. So yeah, reinvent yourself, but in a positive way, I guess, is a more better way to say it. Well, I think college, like I said, how I didn't like, it wasn't like some amazing experience for me. I mean, college was probably some of the darkest times of my life just because I was, just like working at Dairy Queen, and you just kind of sometimes interact with some not great people. And not like I did anything, but you just are surrounded in this environment where you're like, how am I here right now? And I think, again, with like the education system, you're essentially told like your whole life up to that point, like what you're supposed to do. Like, here's your assignment, do this. Let me teach you this. And next we're going to do this. And then you get to college and all of a sudden you can make the choices of what you want to do, where it's like, okay, tomorrow we're going to do this. And you have freedom. You're like, maybe I'm not going to go to that. I mean, I will say I was a nerd, so like I would go to all my classes, but I think you start to question because no one's holding your hand anymore. Like it's up to you to choose what to do, and you're like, who am I? Like, what do I even want to do?
Yeah, dude, that's so funny.
Hopefully you guys echo that.
I was so bad. No, I definitely echo. Everyone's like, college is the best time ever, and it kind of stinks, but I just didn't have that college experience personally. And I think a lot of it is because I just didn't drink or do any of that stuff. So like, and that's a huge part of like the experience, I guess, of like going out, doing ragers. Yeah. So I never really did that. And I didn't really have like a friend group that I kind of like coincided with. So I was just like, I didn't really have like I guess I wasn't that social. I didn't have much of a friend group. I would pretty much every weekend go back home to hang out with my friends from like my childhood. So that's why it was just like I was always back home hanging out with my friends. But yeah, I didn't have that.
all three of us went through an identity crisis to some degree and wanted to find some sort of sense of community and landed on disc golf. And then we're like, we just start making something. Is this kind of what the
Dude, yeah,
consistent pattern is?
I guess, and it's crazy because those friends that I always hung out with, like when I went back into from, because we had a lot of fun. Those are like my core group of friends. I really like most of them. I don't even talk to them anymore, and then like I do still have a good friend from that, but or two. Like I still talk to my best friends, but like 7 out of like the 9 people I haven't talked to or not really friends with. So it's kind of just like crazy just how life changes like that, you know, when things happen and you know, kind of like what Jay Million was saying. Something happens and then it's like, oh, people just like dissipate into existence.
For everyone listening who might not have gone to college yet, I had a wonderful college experience. I absolutely love my time in college and wouldn't trade it for the world. So go to college,
dude. That's what I'm saying. I wish I
had
that.
It.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm bummed. Like I everyone says college is the best time, and I wish I had that. And I think
college is where I found disc golf. So
yeah,
I mean that
was
cool. One of the biggest things. And
yeah,
I had some really good friends going in, so I got lucky. But you know, college were the best 4 years of my life. And
right,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish I had that.
There's gonna be 50-50. You know, like I had a horrible time in high school. Maybe you guys had a better time in high school.
Interesting. You know? Yeah, mine was very much the opposite.
Yeah, high school was absolute poop for me. I was sad. I was a sad boy. But college was where I thrived, man. I found my community. I found my dogs, my DAWGs, for life. And
that sounds like what's
I
important.
had a lot of fun.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a common denominator, finding people.
We didn't have a community. It sounded
I didn't.
Yeah.
None of I don't talk to anyone from college other than my roommate once a year. But you're saying something, I don't know. Really sorry. We were just elaborating.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I was pretty much done. I just think that, I mean, honestly, to sum up, kind of, I feel like the point we're all making is, I mentioned it earlier, but disc golf is a community, honestly, first. And it's really cool because I do think that disc golf, like, I was talking to my wife about it the other day. Like, if you like disc golf, you're low-key obsessed with it. Like, there's not a lot of mild-mannered disc golf people. Like, most people that follow me on Instagram that like disc golf have disc golf-specific Instagram accounts. And I'm always like, this is awesome. This is so funny that, like, if you like disc golf, it becomes such a integral part of your personality, like, that you make a whole Instagram about it, or you talk, people know you play disc golf. Like, no one's really a closeted disc golfer. And I think that's pretty sick. And I think it goes to show that the disc golf community is deep and growing. And if you're looking for people that are cool and fun and enjoy a sport that you like, disc golf is the way to go. And like, just start chatting someone up at the course if you're lonely, if you're looking for community, because the disc golf community is so great, you know, and like, that's where we've all found a lot of friends, a lot of success,
that's how we're here right now.
Contentment. Yeah. And it just goes to show that this is where community can be found.
Yeah. And that's like, I wouldn't trade my life, like how it panned out for the world. I think I always very grateful for the situation I'm in now. It seems a little too unreal sometimes, where it's like how did this all happen? Because just like 4 years ago, right before college, or during college, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I started the tackle store junior year of college, but that was during COVID, so I was already like out of college, just taking virtual classes, trying to graduate. So it was kind of like that period of time. I think it was just kind of like, I think it was just a time of formidable years, like learning how to deal with people that don't like you, I guess, in a way, because you're a tool bag, and learning like, hey, like, my friends at home, these are actually like people that have own unique lives that they have no obligation to like me or hang out with me. And I think that was like that was kind of like a wake up call for me, like of me where I was trying to like be this cool guy. It was like kind of a wake up call where it's like, yo, like if I'm people don't have to like me. Like if I'm acting like this, they're just gonna like not enjoy me. I think that was like kind of a good lesson that I learned from that. It's just like, there's a bunch of different people in this world, and some people aren't gonna like you regardless. Some people are, but it's just like kind of I started to learn to navigate those relationships of like with strangers and people my age that had no reason, because it's different in high school. It's like, we're all classmates and we're all from the same time, but in college it's just like just unique people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll probably put a cap on that, and I think we'll jump ahead to the honestly, Frolf therapy is becoming more and more of a real tagline. I think we'll jump ahead to the viewer submitted question. You guys cool with that?
Well, let's just talk about Turco real quick for disc golf. I'll just
go for it.
Do it briefly. So we had Nicolas Antilla taking it down in MPO with James Proctor coming in second. Shout out James. And then we had Silva Saarinen taking it down in FPO, and Evelina Saarinen coming in second, and Henna Blumros coming in third, and Heidi Laine coming in fourth. So
Laine.
So yeah, I think these Elite Series in Europe are incredible, and they're awesome, and everyone should watch it. It's just, my schedule was just busier than ever. I'm trying to buy a home, if anyway, so it was just like, it was a lot. So I wasn't able to like tune in as much as I would have liked, and also because like I woke up and like FPO's done, and then half the MPO field's like almost done, so it was tougher.
Yeah, I did not watch any. I just saw what the results were, and it's cool to see, and that's pretty much all I have to add to this.
But the Preserve is next week, so obviously we're gonna be dialed back in for that.
Do you guys like the Preserve? For me, it's it's one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I like Preserve. I like that finishing hole 18, where you can go for eagle if you need to.
Yeah, it's cool. I dig it. I know people have their thoughts about the Birdie Fest.
Make up two, dude. I'm a fan of Birdie Fest. I think I've already said that before.
Yeah, we talked about this, but yeah, I love it. Ben,
I'm hyped. Should be good.
Any other Turku thoughts?
Yeah,
no, that was it.
Professional player.
That was it. It was just who won. Just keeping people updated.
Okay. So this one, shout out to Autumn. AS for Autumn. She sent us so many questions. I mean, I could go for the next few months with submitted questions just from her.
I want you to also answer Kiara's question. I saw it. Kiara had a question. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh yeah, I don't have it like here off the top at the moment, but I think I briefly asked it last week to Josh.
Oh.
Like our weirdest experience with Ben, or like the funniest thing that you said or something like that. Isn't that kind of what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we kind of did that last week.
Oh.
Why do you Ben have an experience that you've done that pops into your own head?
No, I just thought I just thought it'd be hilarious to listen to what you guys thought. But I guess I'll have to go back and listen to that part of the podcast.
Yeah, check it out. And anyone else that's listening, yeah, go check it out. Okay, which one should I go with? Okay, we'll go with this one. She asks, if you had to throw out one disc in your bag right now, what would it be?
Throw out?
Yeah, like if there was one that you're just like, okay, what am I getting rid of? Like, what would I choose? I haven't even thought about it myself.
Wolf.
Why do you have a DX Wolf?
Because I found it with a no name and I just put it in my bag because it was kind of fun to play with, but I don't need
it. Okay, amazing. I have to even like think about my own bag right now, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I even have.
Oh, I have a Z Soul in my bag right now, just because I wanted something like really fun, like hyzer flip to turn, and I'm not like married to it or anything, but it does the job. But if I lost it, I wouldn't be too heartbroken.
Yeah, for me, like I have like 8 to 10 discs that I always have in my bag, but everything else is just so fluid. Like I love trying out new stuff. I'm sure that's how most disc golfers are.
Same.
But so I could honestly put like 4 or 5 discs on the chopping block. Like I have a Rolo in the bag that I literally haven't thrown once. Just I got a Rolo and I was like, oh, I want to try this, and I literally haven't tried it. It's just been sitting
Yeah.
in my bag. Like I guess more of an interesting thing to mention is like my approach discs are like nearly always the same. Like I have a zone, I have an inner core, and I have a zone OS. So anything outside of those three, I'm testing out and would be fine without. Like
Mm,
my the rest of my bag, I have an MD3 that I've had forever, a Buzz that
my
I've had
dog.
forever. I have Ozone in there right now, a bunch of Wraiths, a Destroyer, and then a Raptor and a Splice. But anything outside of that, I'm cool throwing away, like or not throwing away, but like getting rid of.
Recycling. I got you,
Yeah,
Jamie.
exactly. Come on, man.
Recycling, yeah.
Uh, is that like your go-to mid? I've seen you like talk about the Buzz a lot, or is that like your go-to mid?
What's my go-to mid out of
Because you said
MD3 and
MB3.
Buzz?
Yeah.
So I mean, my go-to mid's a zone. I guess I don't know if you guys count a zone as a mid, but
I think
Putter.
people like to debate that for some reason.
yeah,
I don't know why. I mean, I
Approach
don't. I
putter,
just
I'd say.
yeah. I just think of it like approach, like its own
yeah,
category for me
yeah, it's its own
personally.
category. Yeah, I don't know, man. In terms of like go-to mids, it kind of fluctuates. So like my Buzz is flippy.
Hmm.
So like it's hyzer flip to like might even hold a little turn after hyzer flip. My MD3 flips up and just holds straight, and has a little bit of finish. So it really just depends on the shot. Like I don't really like Jimothy is my go-to mid, but honestly, he's getting a little flippy on me, so he's not being as used as he used to be. So
I can't.
if
How have
if
you
I had
not
to
lost
if I
that?
had to have one mid, it'd be my Buzz. How have I not lost it? I have lost it like 5 or 6 times, and he's always made his way back.
Dude.
Amazing.
Okay, that makes more sense because there's not a single disc that stays in my bag longer than like 6 months. Maybe my
I haven't
MD2,
lost
actually.
him in like a year or two though, so it's been a little while since I lost him.
I
That's kinda
guess
sick.
I guess I can relate because I have an MD2 that's always been in my bag, and like I always make sure I don't throw it or in like
Oh,
field
I
work
thought you
or
lost it.
no, I have it. Or I am very cognizant and aware of it that I know exactly like, oh, I have to pick it up. Cuz my biggest thing with losing discs is one loss
Just
or
forget 'em.
I just throw multiple and yeah, I just forget one because
Do you still have my cash?
your
Or
cash?
remember the pink one that you found? It was just on the tee pad of like at Maple Hill, and I was like, dude, how did you find that? You like sent me a picture of it.
No, I think I returned it. I don't have it.
What the heck? Is
Or
this a
maybe
joke?
I don't
All right,
remember,
well,
dude.
He's told
Honestly,
R.I.P. to the homie.
I honestly, I'd have to check. Like, maybe I did keep it because I thought I'm gonna see Sajko soon, and I just completely forgot about it.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm gonna have to
Hey.
check. I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, we'll give our concluding thoughts. Thank you guys for listening. If you've made it this far into the podcast, really, like I said, frolf therapy is becoming more and more real, and hopefully you guys enjoy that because, I learned a bunch of things about these guys, and you guys learned some stuff, and hopefully got some sort of takeaway from it. But yeah, do all the liking, commenting, subscribing, all
Yeah.
the good stuff. Follow us over on Instagram. Josh?
I was gonna say, I feel like something we're realizing more and more as we do these episodes is we want to be in the community and we want to be a part of the community. Like I mentioned earlier, like if you're listening, you're a part of our community. Like that's what we want to like lean into. So like we do, if you have questions, maybe your question will be so good that we'll talk about it for the whole episode. So
Mhm.
lean into us, we'll lean into you guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys.
It's a disc
Lean
golf
into us.
podcast that doesn't necessarily. It talks about disc golf adjacent stuff sometimes.
Yeah, that should
More
actually be the
often than not.
tagline.
Yeah,
Cool.
disc golf adjacent podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys. Funsie is outie.
Funsie.
Adios, Funsie.